Hello, and welcome to another episode of our virtual poetry cafe, courtesy of the Martha's Vineyard Playhouse, where in normal times, when pandemics don't dictate public behavior, this off-season poetry event would be held in the beautiful Marilyn Meyerhoff lobby. People would gather at tables, pie would be served, and poets would read, while outside winter did its thing. It's January, it's a new year, 2021. I'm Arnie Reisman, your host, and here we are, virtually, once again. We have three poets for you, each reading three poems. I will back clean up and conclude our brief festivities with three of my own works. And then you can return to your life, already in progress. Readings by today's poets, Ellen Martin Story, Peter Ledermann, and Richard Wace, will be available all winter on our website, mvplayhouse.org. So tell your friends who may have missed today's program, they still have time to tune in. First up is Ellen Martin Story. She's a member of the island's Cleveland House Poets. Her work has appeared in the poetry corner of the MV Times. She grew up in Malden, just to the north of Boston. But now she and her husband, both retired public servants, live in Oak Bluffs. Ellen Story, take it.
Hi, my name is Ellen Martin Story. Before I begin tonight, I would like to thank Arnie Reisman, as well as the Martha's Vineyard Playhouse, for this my first opportunity to read for Poetry and Pie. My first selection tonight is in memory of my dad, who saw beauty and good spirit in almost everything. Witness. I see you, barren maple, and aside your heavy sigh I bow as you release your final crimson leaf. Then a teardrop that in transformation freezes, unites with this flamenco swish to glide in peace onto a crumbling stone wall, coated like an ermine cloak shed by a warring queen. I witness your grief creation, now a diamond-studded ruby that pins itself to these snow-covered lumps of stone that twinkle in twilight, that make this moment majestic. I witness the humbleness to let go, and with patience experience brilliance. I wrote this next poem in the spring, early summer, when most of us were exhausted by the pandemic at that point. It's called Mind This. Mind that knows spring but feels like winter, or summer like fall. Mind at first pacing, maybe charted a bit, marked then erased. This uncaptained flotilla, mind, without oars, circles, mind rallying to hold some things, but bowed, exhausted, sinks. Mind all this for today, for someday. I wrote this poem, this is my final poem for tonight. I wrote it last summer. As I was buying some watermelon at Stop and Shop in Edgartown. It references the prejudice or the stereotype of Black people who and their supposed love of watermelon. When I was a child, like many other African Americans growing up, I was taught not to eat watermelon, especially in public, in front of other people, not to walk around with watermelon, just to leave watermelon alone. So the title of this poem is Watermelon Caper. My hat secured, my mask pulled up, so careful to see who might be watching me, market basket, that red sweetness of hydration, scurry to find some cereal, and a no-line checkout clerk. Same time hoping the gone before elders do not recognize me breaking their covenant, no watermelon. Because if disobedient, God's a stereotype will bronze me into a white, ragged cotton picker, back bowed, or little black jockey with lantern on some front yard. But phew, watermelon is now in my refrigerator, prepackaged, chunks in small container, well hidden by humidity's vapor and the juice. Oh, that telltale juice wiped from around my mouth. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks very much, Ellen. Next up is Peter Ledermann, another member of the Cleveland House Poets. Not only inventive in terms of language, he designs and manufactures high-end audio equipment, including handcrafting phonograph cartridges at his company, Soundsmith. His poems have been published in Cross Currents magazine. And when he's not engineering and writing in New York State, he can be found in West Tisbury. Peter Ledermann.
Hi, I'm Peter Ledermann. This poem is called The Parting. There is no place where leaves can fall, where the earth will not love to embrace, as no color deep could hope to enthrall my heart more than the gift of your grace. For the season's not a time for change, but a change for time to draw a breath, and with its canvas rearrange light from dark, life from death. As terraced gardens disappear, milkweed pods their children strayed, adrift on songs we've yet to hear, the invisible law to be obeyed. And with each part the parting goes, the autumn winds, the summer seeds, adrift beneath the winter snows, with noble dreams and daring deeds. So let time not into pieces go, where each without the other marks a broken part of the heart we know, complete in sails where love embarks. Kauai. Razor rays who cut the deep and travel where I cannot go, whose singing wakes me from my sleep to teach me what I cannot know. Where time is such a precious thing, where every moment's handed down, too deep for us without fin or wing, immersed in every changing sound. And you have spied on us above, which for you is down beneath, and wondered how we carry love away from shoal and coral reef. Bright clouds, umbrella mountain green, unfold above the liquid land, whose beauty known remains unseen, still crafted by your steady hand. You hover where I cannot dwell, you swim in what I cannot know. Immersed in what you do so well, I float above, you fly below. Where time is split by each flapping wing, and stills the now and floats the hour, and splits again each time you sing, while praising each and every flower. As seeing is the cause of eyes, believing forms a need to know, while feeling casts its net for lies, loving sets it free to go. Each day forsake these damaged goods, recycle me in lava flows, and let each sprout retune the woods. till we can sing what heaven knows. Beautiful, too beautiful to go back to sleep, the morning sprite before the sun, black silhouetted trees that edge the world, re-speak stillness as night's undone. In quiescent twilight day is birthed, so perfect in its offering, infinite outcomes by love conceived, immaculately separate from our suffering. To taste the dew that's offered up, one would have to sacrifice the comfort of one's darkened view, the trade-off believed that will suffice. So it's a crow that breaks the dawn, unravels peace that must unwind, and signals end to morning's birth, to usher deeds of man unkind, too beautiful to be believed, timeless in its continuing, miraculous to be conceived, so fragile in its offering.
Thanks, Peter. Next up is Richard Wace, all the way from Scotland. Well, at least that's where he was born. Since then, he's moved to England and Connecticut. After a life in stock brokerage, he finds himself breathing freer and moving his thoughts between humorous and Homeric enterprises. Richard Wace.
Richard Wace, Blackie. Among some strangers once, who did not know your name, they christened you the Happy Dog, and that was you. Completely without guile, accepting, loving, forever hungry, eager just to give that innate gift that purity of instinct did compel you. Oh, what a cosmic plan you do reveal, for as effect you clearly manifest so pure a rendering of cause that joy, devotion, and pure love must constitute its nature. The gift of happiness was yours to give, and we the blessed receivers. Within our memory you live. We could not let you go, not as a captive, but as an alchemy, an inspiration which uplifts and guides a melancholy thought to brighter lands, where we will one day meet again and see you as the glorious, unfettered soul that we know you to be. Sunset. We're out on the deck with a glass of wine, and the view, my dear, is just so divine. We're getting excited because the sunset is going to be one that we'll never forget. I just popped in for glass number 2, and I'm not too sure. Did I mention the view? The clouds look like cherubim outlined in gold. It's a glorious sunset about to unfold. The beauty of nature just gives me the chills, the play of the light and the dark on the hills. There's a bird saying good night from that tall maple tree. I'm thirsty. I'm just popping in for glass 3. This glorious gift makes me break down and cry. The multiple colors, the exquisite sky. God's hand is at work, and he's going full throttle. I think I'll open another bottle. Soulmates. Love did arrive unheralded and mute, ignored by loneliness and pushed aside lest recognition should suggest that pride, so brittle, frozen, yet so resolute to ward off pain, should yield. But more astute their souls did greet this age-old friend, and cried in silent joy, then with new strength denied the phantom boundaries in clear refute of limitation and of loneliness. By heaven's talisman they now are graced, and steered by unseen spirits so precise, they may create new worlds and thus access the nature of their love, now firmly based. The source of such desire, 'tis paradise.
Thanks, Richard. Before we all go off to find another bottle with you, I will offer 3 poems to close the program. There is a slight theme running through them. Basically, you are what you wear. I'll start short, then go long. Dress code. Understanding is what is usually a matter of threads, as when an article of speech serves as an article of clothing, as when the or an or a can be used as a hat of distinction worn by a noun in fear of going it alone into the marketplace of misunderstanding. Second one. This is called a postman's day off. He wished he had a coat of arms that everyone would know him by. There'd be compliments on the crest, perhaps some design of mythic meteorology, a castle in sleet or a cassowary in the wind, perhaps a steed bowing its head in obeisance as in the shape of that cloud above, or even a royal blue unicorn winking. It would adorn his hanky pocket, his stationery, his car door on the driver's side. It would elevate him, he thought while lying on a hillside, to a higher seat in life. He looked down at his wizened leather jacket, crestfallen. He looked up at the rush hour of graying clouds, heading off to work in another town. Perhaps they'd rain on all those peons who wouldn't know heraldry if they fell over it. He wondered if he'd have such lofty thoughts tomorrow when he put his uniform back on and delivered the mail. Or would he be just thankful to have pants of legs, shoes of feet? And my last, in this poem, there's a reference to Jermyn Street, spelled Jermyn, a London stretch of fashionable shops. This poem is called The Waistband. Prologue. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometime, you find you get what you need. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. Appetite has the cruelest mouth. It licks its lips with lies if you let it. He lay there, looking up at the man he was, looking down at the man he thought he was. He had reached that age where one treasured possession loomed large, but sadly not large enough. An elegant dark suit, the one at this time of life you wear to more funerals than weddings. He looked sharp, Johnny on the town. These were the clothes that made the man. Now he was made of flanges and sponges, navy blue worsted, thread count envy, sartorial splendor, quarterly worthy. Handsome is what handsome wears, finely stitched by nimble Italian hands on Jermyn Street, where haberdasheries line both sides, customizing customers. He sampled his way through Hilditch and Key, Hawes and Curtis, Turnbull and Asser. Finally, success and sale at Old Aquascutum. She had to admit he was picture perfect, breasted, tapered, always down to the cuff, always handsome, pleated in so many memories. Waistband after waistband had come and gone, a bespoke glory, so becoming in bygones, tailored and retailored, both body and suit. She saw the suit as a carrot for weight loss. Dieting is contradictory to living, he said. We live, gain weight. It means nothing. We die. There was nothing left to be let out. All the criminal elements of easy living had escaped. He remained at large. Moderation may suit an Aristotle, but he would belly up right to the last bell, round it off to the nearest number recalled. Desire, sold at fine stores everywhere, now sentenced to hang in the closet. He receded into himself, comfortably. With each fork and spoon he lifted, the earth, it seemed, had shifted. Situational gravity, not taken seriously. He had a stomach to stave off the suit, but he didn't have the stomach to give it away. The idea of parting left a bitter taste. Another idea of parting left a grin. It came from his mischievous missus, Keep the stomach, waste the waste. So be it if you end up not fit to fit. We can part the fabric, lay your corpse in it. Split up the back, it can be your final resting suit. You will have your day, lie stylish in state. No one looking down on you will notice. You'll be admired forever in ever after service. Above, Beau Brummel, far from the clamor. Below, a beetle in broken battle armor, a twice-baked couch potato. Nothing like a little breathing room. It's all the rage for the dead, she said. Exasperated, he equivocated, went to bed. A bookish man, he would lie presumed, collected like so many volumes consumed, hewn by his appetite, unsown for eternity. You'll get your next suit at Harps and Wings, haberdashers for the after things. Out with a bang, no whimper for a waistband. He lay there, looking up at the man he thought he was, looking down at the man he was. And there you have it. As I said, this is a new year, and we're all hoping it brings us better health than the last one. On behalf of the Playhouse, I want to thank our poets and all of you out there for joining us. Tell everyone to keep tuning in to mvplayhouse.org for virtual entertainment and edification. And while you're doing that, please stay warm and stay safe. Good night.